Alright guys, welcome to this channel. Good day. Thank you to everyone for your support to us here. Those of you with tickets, citations, mortgages, foreclosures, for those of you with warrants, student loans, auto loans, and mortgages or foreclosures, and those of you having to see an agent doing business, parole officer, as well as those of you with child support cases. If you have a child support case, go to your spouse or your former spouse. Work out a private arrangement with them first, then, or you can do it midstream. You can also, those of you who are in for non-violent offenses, who are in the churches doing business as jails, for non-violent offenses, you can email us for the GSA bond templates to set off the matter, and then do the 1099 OID to get back the finances they claimed you owed. You can also do the do not detain affidavit, the IRS status correction, and the fraudulent conveyance of language laws, as well as some of Donald Trump's executive orders. You can do those, and also the manufacturer's certificate of origin, so you own the automobile from the state, no more tickets or citations. And the Chain to the Sky book to learn how to make U.S. postal money orders using the social security numbers, and our book, Time is the Master, Time is the Key, and the herbology book for a lot of home remedies and that. All right, you guys, like to start with a prayer. Those of you who wish to support us here, go to PayPal at themullings@gmail.com. And thank you to each and every one of you for your daily support to us here. We ask for $1 for each of these videos, but feel free to give as much as you like. We really appreciate it. Thank you for that. Heavenly Father God, we pray, thank you for this day. Thank you for sweet sleep. Thank you for giving me the words to speak clearly. Let this be edifying and uplifting to the soul. And what else? Thank you to the good, bad, and indifferent. Let's put a hedge of protection around all that is good globally. The Army, the Navy, the military, the Marines, Donald Trump, and all that is helping everyone to get free. All right, now I'd like to start with a scripture real quick here. Psalms 121, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made the heavens and the earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will neither slumber nor sleep. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is the keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. He shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Thank you to all of you for sharing your research successes and all your journeys with us here. Thank you to Peter, Horatio Bay, Aichi Roots, Kiki Smith, Olga, all of you, Ashalia, in the comment section and emailing us. You guys go to the new channel at Noble L II. We had a strike on the old channel, so hopefully we'll be back and up and running soon on that. God willing, God spare life. All right. You know, a lot of stuff came to us, you guys. Let me see if I can go through it now. Kiki Smith was sharing that in Canaanite land, Canada, Prime Minister announces support for Black entrepreneurs and businesses. Sounds really great. All we're saying is, can you please call us to what we are? If we're American Indians, say so. If we are Moors, say so. If you're going to talk about racism, don't do that, because that's land theft and we know what that means. And if you're giving us reparations and compensation, do that. Stop giving us loans, because we don't have any funds to pay back that. And so this $221 million in partnership with Canadian financial institution, including up to $93 million from Government of Canada over the next 4 years to launch Canada's first ever Black entrepreneurship. Now, Donald Trump did give $500 billion to the said Black communities. Again, he did mention on Twitter the American Indians, so that was nice to hear. However, we already know that a lot of the $500 billion already went out to a lot of the so-called indigenous people in America. So Canada, step up and do the exact same. Give the people what they are supposed to get as per all the harm that's been created on that. Now, we did a video, this is on Noble L II. Trump wins 3,400 terrorist lawsuit. Bloomberg and Biden charged for treason. Pimp removed from Seattle, EC. After we made that video, you guys, oh dear God, the information that came to us is not even funny. I'm going to go through it in a second. Thomas, some of the comments in the comment section, I want to read some of those. It's time for these crooks to go down. Thank you so much for the great work you do, hun. God bless you and yours. Thank you too, Thomas. long way. Albert Jackson says, keep on keeping on, peace and love. JL says, good morning, JL. Blessings to you and your family. Thank you for sharing. Carly Bay says, peace, love, and blessings, and thank you. I am learning better discernment from you. Yes, your voice is soothing. Thank you for that. Peter gave us a whole bunch of links here to a lot of corruption that was going down. FBI agent on Flynn case believed prosecution was used by Mueller team to get Trump. They used the FBI to set up, they did the sting operation, it seems, you guys, using the FBI. Flynn was used, Mueller was used. It's a whole big thing that's coming out now about this case that they were trying to set up Donald Trump, and all the stuff they tried to claim that he did, it looks like they may have done, right? I'm going to go through some of the stuff in a second. Peter also shared Fox News Entertainment, Kentucky, Daniel Cameron, celebrities, influence. Okay, the thing with the whole Breonna Taylor case, that's a big, oh dear God. Turns out her boyfriend was into some kind of a drug thing. He was apparently already had problems with the law, and the police went to his domicile. It was a drug bust. She was awake. They said she was sleeping. What happened was the boyfriend started shooting. I guess a couple of cops were hit. They shot back. Long story short, Breonna Taylor was taken out. But the boyfriend had a long history of some corruption that he was involved in. And so the whole case there, I think what was reported that the police was charged, one of them was charged and was given some outrageous sentence. I don't know if it's true that he took his life as a result of that. Not good. All right, so just be mindful when you hear these Black Lives Matters, Antifa, who was just reported to us that they're being listed as a terrorist group because they were actually trained in Syria for terrorism, you guys. Plot thickens. All right, Fox News Entertainment. So we read that one. Fox News Politics, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, voter fraud. There's this mail fraud going on. And so Donald Trump was able to, they've rounded up, I want to say it was 80 million. I don't know if it's more or less, but something around there. There's a whole bunch of, and yes, they do have states that were doing mail-in for voting many moons prior. Those ones are fine, but the other rest of America is not on board with that. And so the Dems panic, also known as the pandemic agents doing business as Democratic Party Jesuits, are trying to hijack it through these voter fraud, mail-in fraud. They're hijacking, doing some voter harvesting. Yeah. And then Fox News Media, Sean Hannity, Hunter Biden. Lord have mercy. This case with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, you guys, it just got rich. I'll tell you about that in a second. All right. NBC News, Louisville Police Major Antifa, Black Lives Matter will be washing Louisville. That there was some, I think it was 2 police officers that were shot in Louisville after the so-called Breonna Taylor verdict came down, right? Now, thank you, Olga, for sharing this War Castles with us, with Russell Gould. And yes, we did sign on to it. You know how we signed on to it? American Indian Moorish American National. And yes, he does talk as far back to 1775. What happened before 1775? And what he's talking about sounds very similar to the Nisera Jazera. Sounds wonderful. Oh, that's great. We're just saying, where are we in all of it? Put us in it. You see what I'm saying? Because it goes back to us. You can't talk about nativity and not talk about bloodline and not talk about the indigenous and the covenant that was given to us and how they all came about from the very beginning. Who created Russell Gould? Do you see what I'm saying, you guys? Because history and law goes hand in hand. As you're doing this research, you have to know who's behind it, what's really going on, right? All right, I'm going to read some of these. I'm going to put the links to a lot of the research that came to us that I'm going to discuss in this video, and I'm going to put these links in the description below. This guy is incredible. He's talking about Hunter Biden, you guys. Oh my God, and Joe Biden. Is it true that these guys were actually involved in human trafficking and doing crack cocaine? Were they actually drug dealers? Is this true? It turns out that the $3.5 million that Joe Biden received from a former ex-agent doing business as Ukraine governance, number one, it looks like they were involved in 7 out of 10 of the planes that supposedly went down. Those were targeted. Those were actual hits, people. And one was reported that was a hit from Ukraine. Was Joe Biden and Hunter Biden involved in some deep state corruption, taking down the people on the planes and doing drug dealing and human trafficking and child sacrifice? That's the question. Go and listen to this video. I'm going to put in the description below. Hunter Biden caught on human trafficking scandal. Good morning, Mug Club. Then it came out, Steve Turley was talking about the Dems panic, known as a pandemic. They're panicking now. Boy, some stuff's coming out. Like, you guys, you're not going to believe it, but these guys were up to some dirty. NYPD officer charged as spy Chinese Communist Party people. There's a Chinese guy working in, and it's probably not just Chinese. There's a Chinese guy working in the NYPD as a police officer. Turns out he was a spy for the Chinese Communist Party. So they caught him, but the question is how many other agents doing business in America as the Chinese Communist Party, which is what we were talking about yesterday with this Malahu agent. Was she actually an operative for the Chinese Communist Party, putting the people in jails under the so-called fraud state of emergency for 20 years? Because they sent us a video yesterday that China is doing the very same thing. They have this thing where they disappear 20 people a day, people. 20 people per day, they disappear. People don't know where their family members are, for how long, over a year, probably more. It's the same thing going on here. So the question is now, Donald Trump, Attention Office of Interpol and all international authorities globally, the fraud department, Interpol, the FBI agents that are good, the good ones, Donald Trump, the Army, the Navy, the military, the Marines, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, heads for the antitrust department in this monopoly game that we've been subjected to from the beginning of time. All I was saying, Russell Gould should have talked about the Julian calendar, the Moorish calendar, which is a 500-year time difference, the Julian calendar, which is a 13-day time difference, which takes us out of the monopoly game, right? And then why it's so important that as kings we ask questions. As kings we're asking. We're just asking. So, yeah, and also to Jay Clayton doing business as Securities and Exchange Commissioner. Also, trying to remember what I was going to ask. Also, Louis DeJoy doing business as Postmaster General. I come to you in good faith, in one's proper person, as a living flesh and blood sentient being, suri juris suri heirs. Oh yeah, heir to the world's vast estate. Go now quickly and round up all the agents doing business as politicians in the so-called Caribbean, which is South America, also listed as North America, us here listed as Northern Mariana Islands. Go now and find out, are these agents really working for the Chinese Communist parties? Are they really drug dealers? Are they really human trafficking agents doing the said sacrifice that you shared with us yesterday? Is that what's really going on? All these so-called prime ministers, you guys, they have to do a sacrifice, a child sacrifice from the Vatican agents. As soon as they get those positions as ministers, prime ministers, and it looks like the head top bankers, they have to do a child sacrifice or else they're going to be killed. So that's what was going on. That's why I'm going to read to you how Donald Trump took out the 13 top bloodline families. Oh, dear God. I can't even wrap my head around that. That's like mind-boggling to me. So they get them on that blackmail initially. They start to blackmail them from the gate. From as soon as they take office, they're given 100 billion or something like that. I'm going to read it in a second so I get it right. So go and investigate that if that's true. And then remove all of them that's left. Dear God in heaven, you guys remember I was telling you I made a video, and I was guided by the ancestors to go into one of the banks here. I think it was Jamaica National Building Society, right? And I was going in there to monetize I think it was our international bills of exchange at the time, right? I go in there to talk about international bills of exchange, and I end up talking about Freemasons, and I ended up giving our testimony about the organ harvesting. Who told me to do that? The next thing I know, the bank manager sitting across from me, who I'd known for years, who always kind of, I always question this guy. Anyways, he always looked pristine, pristine. And I used to make fun of him sometimes. I'm like, man, your shirt's so perfectly pressed, like, you can't even say nothing to you because you're, like, so perfect looking. Anywho, turns out, I think he's from Africa, right? As I mentioned, the Freemasons and the organ harvesting. He takes affront, takes it personal. I am sitting there saying, wait a minute, is this guy involved in some kind of human sacrifice? That's what I'm thinking, Next thing you know, he puts on this face, and the face is like really frightening, man. And I'm sitting there and I'm going to God, what is he trying to tell me? Long story short, we sent him an affidavit with all that stuff in it. Did you do the human sacrificing? Are you in charge of? Did you do the organ harvesting? Did you kill my husband? So I wrote to him. Do you know that he agreed to every single thing by his silence? Silence is acquiescence, guys. That's how he asked so many questions. So you're going to go and round up all those banker heads here? Lord have mercy. This was just huge yesterday. Somebody just wrote in the comment section that how do you know or what type of execution are they subjected to, right? And we wrote back and said that there were 3 or 4 different kinds. I think it was hanging, one was getting shot, one was getting lethal injections, or 3 different kinds, right? Am I correct? 4, and then one was the succumbing to the so-called pandemic, Dems or panic, I want to say hoax, novel hoax, you guys, a patent, which is really another form of execution. They pick which one, right? And each one has a certain, label. So for instance, if they accept the hanging, I guess their life or their legacy, one of those types of executions, they get to keep their legacy intact. Another one they choose, everything is just exposed, right? Anyways, so that's what was going on. Capitalism and monopolies. How 5 companies control all U.S. media. I'm going to read what the 5 companies are in a second. And then this one says, are you really free under capitalism? And they are trying to get people to go into socialism. No, man, forget that. Never mind, which is where we are now pretty much. Never bring an arrow to, there's, that saying, never bring a sword to a gun battle or something. That was another drop. And then, fall of the cabal. Anyways, I'm going to read some of this stuff. You guys are going to put the links to these in the description below because there's far more information on these, so you know. An international military force has repatriated. First, I want to give you the 5 media things, so I don't want to forget that one. The 5 media companies that run the planet globally is Disney, Comcast, at&t, National Amusement, and Newscorp. So my question was, international authorities, is it really just one media company under the Chinese Communist Party? Is that what's going on? Is that why there's so much censorship? Think about it, you guys. All right. Then I was saying, these are the monopolies owning of $400 billion worth of media propaganda. Yes, that's what I was saying. Are they running by the Chinese propaganda party? So if that's the case, then international authorities, you're going to have to take out the CCP. And then you're going to have to take out all the social media. Oh, you already did that part. Okay. All right. They're already on top of it, you guys. That's what the angels are telling us here. I'm just reporting some stuff. Dianne Feinstein's, somebody was saying there was nothing new on the arrests and executions as we just made public too. You guys go to Noble L, the 2nd channel, for the new videos that just came out this week, right? The Kardashians, people. The The Kardashians were not on the older ones. I did not know that Kim and Kris and Caitlyn Jenner and the younger ones were involved in this crap with the adrenochrome. Think about it, people. Dianne Feinstein's husband, named in U.S. admissions scandal. Did you guys get that? Says he wrote recommendations letters for connected applicants a bunch of times. Big scandal over there. They're also saying that Pelosi they're going to take out in terms of the Senate. People are saying they're going to remove her from office. You know, she's already been arrested, right? Her, Nader, and Biden, or whoever else, the corruption entities. They're saying that 2 senators are saying that they don't want to vote. They're not going to vote on the Supreme Court justice that Donald Trump is choosing today or whatever, right? So they're saying that they're going to remove them from office because they're not doing their jobs. There's no purpose for them being there. If they've chosen not to do their jobs, then they can remove them, right? Which is the same thing with Nancy Pelosi, Nader, and the rest of the corruption entities, right? I guess Schumer's involved in that as well too. Also, 7 out of 10 planes crashes were targets hits. One specifically mentions Ukraine. So all these were payouts. All these payouts was to get Ukraine to do these so-called plane crashes, right? Human trafficking, child sex trade rings, and I guess drug, because they're saying that how it works, right? When they put the prime ministers and these bankers and stuff in, they're actually run by the mafia kings, right? So the mafia drug lords who are doing child sex trafficking and all the human trafficking, they run the bankers and the prime ministers. Is that right? I'm asking a question because that's what they're telling us, right? So I'm trying to put this thing into perspective, people. So the Dems panic situation, pandemic. They're panicking, you guys. Then they have these apps. These are spy apps that they've been trying to find out what the police and other law enforcement agents were doing. That being said, the feds were tracking Antifa via their phone devices, etc. Antifa was trained in Syria as terrorists. Wow. Okay, at the FBI, this is another one. At the FBI analyst. Oh, yeah, the FBI analyst. Okay, so the analyst working at the Federal Bureau of Investigations, right, took out a professional liability insurance, you guys. Listen to this. They knew that these 15,000, there's 30,000 FBI agents apparently. 15,000 are good, 15,000 are not so great. The analyst, I guess, must have found out about the corruption that was going on with the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations heads. They took out a professional liability insurance bond, right, to protect themselves in the midst of the corruption coming down in this Dem panic, right? This AKA, also known as a pandemic. They had the FBI. You have to laugh, you guys, because if you don't laugh, I just find this thing like, this is a movie, man. They had the FBI agents target the president with Flynn Biden, who was doing the sex trade, human trafficking, it seems. He was also doing cocaine. So are these drug heads? Is that what we're looking at? All these guys in power, are they all like doing crack cocaine? Because this is like a mind-blowing, right? Etc. Corruption. James Comey, all these guys are in trouble. Information warfare. We're almost there. Lots coming down the pipeline. All right. The next one they sent to me was so Donald Trump has done all of these rallies, right? There are thousands of people at these rallies. So in one of the speeches, he was saying, turn the camera around so that people can see how many people are here. Turn the camera around. And finally, they turn the camera around. You guys will see there's thousands of people at these rallies, right? Turn the cameras around, and 2 senators refused to vote for new justice until after the election. Listen to how these guys take a strip of these 2 senators. What he thinks must happen to these 2 senators is that they must lose funding, and they must lose their jobs, etc., seeing that they refuse to do their jobs. Their jobs are under the Constitution, I guess. 100 million put in. Donald Trump put 100 million. was put into fighting child trafficking. This is another video. No other president has put so much into the human trafficking, rounding up the human traffickers. It's called prosecutorial discretion. When they went to Joe Biden and Barack Obama, right, to do the very same, to clear up the human trafficking, they claimed they did not have enough resources, funds. Meanwhile, they were giving China and all these other entities, Iran and what have you. And it turns out, you guys, it's not just China in the Chinese Communist Party. It looks like Iran and other countries were involved in this, eh? So they did not have enough resources to go after these criminals. A big fat lie, as they are all criminals. And so where the marshals rescued, so what happened was Operation Not Forgotten. There's all these different operations now on the table that are rescuing the children all across the planet, right? So there was one set where these marshals rescued 26 children, another set rescued 90 children in another project and another group, and this is going on all across the globe. So they said about 1 million children may have already been rescued. Finally, the Freedom Caucus now trying to remove Nancy Pelosi. Finally, the Freedom Caucus, this is another video they sent to me. The Freedom Caucus now trying to remove Nancy Pelosi from the Senate for treason. Her and the other treason agents are now about to remove them from their posts, right? Hence, they're going to take the move to remove her from speakership. She's a Speaker of the House, right? If she tries to impeach Donald Trump for following the Constitution as per putting in the new Supreme Court justice, which is what they had done every time they were in power and a position came available, even though it didn't when Scalia was taken out by them, whatever. It seems that they quickly put somebody in, no questions asked, right? So it's a double standard. They're going against their own, hypocrisy, people. All right. Now, this was on another set of information they sent to us. When a person became prime minister, president, this is where it gets thick, people. Put your children in another room for this one. When a person became prime minister, president, central bank governor, etc., they were visited by authorities of the Vatican Bank. According to P2 Freemasons, who passed the intel to Benjamin Fulford, the new world leader was given 100 million to over 1 billion as a welcome into an exclusive club under a warning that if they refused to cooperate, they would be killed. More revelations were emerging about the depth of the Vatican crimes, especially in Canada, a hot spot for Vatican atrocities. For centuries, the Vatican refused requests for excavation for over 34 child mass grave sites. International authorities go and dig up those 34 mass grave sites now. And then they were believed to be filled with mutilated bodies of over 50,000 children, you guys, who were missing from the Anglican United Church of Canada. Can you imagine that? What church were we a part of when we were a little? Anglican church. Until I heard a story, there was a minister in that Anglican church who they said he was homosexual. Long story short, he was in some kind of a homosexual game one weekend in, I want to say, Montreal or something. Anyways, he didn't make it back. I don't know what happened. Though mainly 80 Catholic native residential schools across Canada. So So they got them, you guys, on blackmail. Child mass graves and the Ninth Circle in Canada will be discussed by Kevin Arnett, the ITCC, as activist Katie Stekoya of the Algonquin Indigenous Nation. That's what I'm saying. Why didn't Russell Gould mention the Algonquin Indigenous Nation? Who is Algonquin, you guys? We are. That's where we're domiciled, in Algonquin. Okay? So this speaks to me. Okay? It speaks to us. The two will examine hard evidence of Ninth Circle crimes across Canada and the movement that is exposing them. Sunday, March 10th at 6 p.m. Child sacrifice. I'll put the links. You guys, there's way more than this. I just took some blurbs out of it. Child sacrifice, pedophilia, and the global banking system. How the whole thing got started. What President Trump did on day one, and appointing Utah Attorney General to investigate and round up all pedophilia heads and rings. It's all there. You can read it, and it's in this particular section. I'm going to put that in the description below so you can read it in more detail. Chinese police officer charged as it was discovered he was a spy for the Chinese Communist Party. Here is the link to that. NYPD officer charged as spy for Chinese Communist Party. I just read that. Then the New York Times is panicking about the 2020 election as Biden begins to implode. Yeah, Biden's losing it. The clone is not working out for him. Joe Biden was given $3.5 million for giving sex slaves to Russia or Ukraine. What the hell? Really? Go and see if that's true, you guys. Go and investigate. I'm asking because when that came out, I was like, what? Now, there is about 1,969 Belgium doctors who have now come out and say they no longer want to be part of the pandemic. Why didn't we put an affidavit out saying that they have to be coming clean in this medical tyranny known as the Dems pandemic? As a doctor, we took the Hippocratic oath. I will above all care for my patients, promote their health, and alleviate their suffering. I will inform my patients correctly, even under pressure. I will not use, this is their Hippocratic oath, I will not use my medical knowledge for practices that are against humanity, which is what's going on now. The current measures force us to act against this oath. Other health professionals have similar codes. The it's called let me just say it, this is Latin. Primum non nocere, P-R-I-M-U-M, primum non, N-O-N, and then the next word, N-O-C-E-R-E, N-O-C-E-R-E, which every doctor and health professional assumes is also undermined by the current measures and by the prospect of the possible introduction of the generalized vaccine, which is not subject to extensive prior testing. Let me read that again. Every doctor and health professional assumes is also undermined by the current measures and by the prospect of the possible introduction of a generalized vaccine, which is not subject to extensive prior testing. So they don't want the vaccine to come out because the vaccines, has to go through, 5 years of proper testing. All right, so more doctors will be talking about stuff coming out there. Go and investigate those two deaths that we heard this week. One with the Ying Ying bike up in Petersfield on the BMW, and also the one with Jeffrey. Go and see if he was poisoned at the hospital. Go and round up a lot of those heads working at the hospitals who claim they're from Cuba and all over the globe. Are they doing genocide in those hospitals here across this territory known as Northern Mariana Islands? As there's been reported to us, there's a lot of deaths going on in those hospitals, you guys. Those military bases, go and see what's going on over there. Trump was right. Explosive new FBI text detail internal furor over handling of Crossfire hurricane investigation. All right, so what happened was, I want to say when these hurricanes were reported to us, they were really doing human trafficking and stuff, especially from Haiti, you guys. They were going to the Bill Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, and probably the Bill Gates Foundation, which they discovered there was a direct line, I want to say a walkway from the Clinton Foundation to the underground dumps that they found in, I want to say Manhattan. Anyway, newly disclosed internal FBI notes and text messages detailed the extent of the FBI desire to take down Trump and his associates at any cost. So they had this whole thing going on, trying to get Trump involved in their little war crimes against humanity that they were actually doing. And then we're trying to blame it on him, it seems, right? Now, this hoax, there's 1,907 doctors and health professionals sign a letter to end the so-called scandemic hoax measures. I'll put the link to that so you can read it. In Australia, if doctors were prescribed HCQ, no evidence lockdowns work. Yeah, give the people the HCQ and let them go free. International kidnapping ring run by the Vatican was closed as gold repatriated to the U.S. Treasury. So what happened was, when they took out those agents doing business as priests, even the nuns are starting to talk out now. The nuns are starting to speak up, because I don't know if you guys are aware of this. They sent us a video. Dear God in heaven, Jesus. The nuns were being subjected to rape, you guys, by the same ministers, apparently. They had made a video. I think it was the same guy who I just talked about, who was working with the International Criminal World Court, who was reporting on that. A lot of these babies that these nuns were pregnant with after they were raped and stuff, those babies were subject to the very same sacrifice. A lot of those babies were buried around those churches, right? So you're going to have to dig up those churches, because, boy, you're going to find some bodies, boy. Biden caught, go and do that now, international authorities. And then now, Biden caught in human trafficking scandal. You guys can go read about that, because maybe that was what was really going on. So all this time they were trying to cover up the fact that... So the question is, was Nancy Pelosi involved in all of that? And all those others, Schumer and them? Go and investigate that, because it looks like that's what they probably were involved in with the Chinese Communist Party, right? Doing the organ harvesting and these prison bonds that they were selling. And international, and how they got the celebrities involved in those very same prison bonds, right? An international military force has repatriated to the U.S. Treasury 650 plane loads of gold and cash. I reported this earlier. From the Vatican, according to Charlie Ward, PhD, whose team secured the gold and valuables. The military also arrested 13 demon bloodline families. Oh, dear God. Did you guys hear that? The military also arrested 13 demon bloodline families, mafia heads, the Pope, and 350 personnel in the Vatican. Then they cleared out the Vatican of cash, gold, and valuables in 650 plane loads and flew it to Fort Knox and other U.S. Looks like other U.S. facilities. More revelations were emerging about the depth of the Vatican or other Vatican crimes, especially in Canada, a hotspot for Vatican atrocities. For centuries, the Vatican had refused requests for excavation of child mass grave sites believed filled with the mutilated bodies of over 50,000 children who went missing from the Anglican United Church of Canada through mainly 80 Catholic native residential schools across Canada. You remember we were saying that we were up in Hamilton one day, and there was this dark, as you turn, you're leaving Burlington, you're going into Hamilton, there's a big church. Go down that main road, turn right, you see this massive church. A huge dark cloud is over that church. Go and dig up whatever's in that church there. And then as you're going down where you go to get the smokes, right? The Indian reservations, you know where the smokes are? All right, those smoke shops. Okay, as you're going down there, this big old wide area over there, there's a little plane landing strip for private planes or whatnot. As you're going down that road and you drive on that main road, dear God, you could feel the energy there, man. All right, an international military force has, okay, I read that one. And then I'm going to put the links to all of these guys in the description below. And then you guys will be able to know. As this is another one. And about to be implemented, global currency reset has already ended the Vatican Bank and its 9 circle money laundering operations as it cut the criminals off from services of various mafias in the international child sex trafficking, gun and drug running rings by shutting down. You guys remember to give these videos a thumbs up, Remember to like, share, subscribe. Remember, you can go back to our older channel, Noble L, and share far and wide. We do ask for $1 for each video. You feel free to donate to us any amount. We really appreciate it. Go to PayPal at themullings@gmail.com. Thank you to all of you supporting us here. Okay, by shutting down the 6,000 world leaders, did you guys get that? By shutting down the 6,000 world leaders' accounts, we crippled the entire Vatican and forced the Catholic Church into a phased program of only accepting electronic donations, church collections, to conform with the international money laundering legislation. This decouples the Vatican from the Italian mafia. Fulford claimed locations. Ward continued. When President Trump said, I was trying to keep this short, first they cut off the head of the snake, he meant the 13 demon bloodline families who had been running the global deep state. As a result, over 6,000 bank accounts used to blackmail world leaders have been closed, as the Vatican Bank lost their status as a money laundering center for the satanic Ninth Circle, child sacrifice cults, global human trafficking, pedophilia, gun, and drug running networks. Ward claimed that in March 2020, the first country to go into lockdown for the scamdemic virus was Italy, which is true. At the same time, it was also the first country to go back to the global It was also the first country the global military went into to secure gold for the about to happen global currency reset, where 209 countries valued their currency according to gold and physical assets. Since 1913, the cabal-owned Federal Reserve global financial system has funneled U.S. taxpayer dollars to the Queen's Bank of London, Vatican Bank, on the central banks across the globe. That system was now defunct as of September 2020. Startup of a transparent quantum computer global financial system of the BRICS alliance. The BRICS means Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America. That means the Caribbean signed on. Since child sacrifice, pedophilia, and global banking system. So who's running the media system now, you guys? That's the question. All right, you guys, like, share, subscribe. You guys have yourself a great day. I'm going to finish this affidavit. Thank you in advance for your speedy response to this matter. Go now quickly. Round up the rest of the heads that are out there doing whatever corruption. And thank you to all the affidavits you implemented for us so far. Send us something today so we can do our work here and continue our research. So go and do that now. Thank you in advance for your speedy response to that matter. By Noble, Honorable Angelina D. Alpha L, Reubenite Tribe Chief, American Indian, Allodial Title Moorish American National, UCC 1-308, without recourse, all rights reserved, AA 222141. Russell Gold, talk about that. AA 222141 as the original diplomatic. We hold the highest diplomatic office. So tell us about that. And then we'll be happy to share that, right? Let me just speak this into my indigenous tongue now. You guys remember, when you travel globally, you begin to learn about the herbs, king of the forest, Itri was calling my name, Channa, Chanibac, Sursi, peppermint, papaya. There's all these trees, mango leaves, papaya leaves, all these leaves, lime leaves, these things that have these properties that I didn't know until yesterday. Amazing. Thank you to the powers that be for sharing this amazing information with us here. We're hoping at some points we can share some of this detailed information that we have been able to use and get remedy from. But these are some of the things you guys have to look into, okay? All right, so tokoina kakaina na katakoina he takanaitaka name na ka no no kokoina la kaina he kataki. Faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead, you guys. Faith without works is dead. Put God first and all good things will come after. Put God first and all good things will come after, right? Who's the God? You are. Psalms 82:6. Psalms 82:6, we're the gods, right? So all I'm saying is, you guys, support those who support you, uplift those who uplift you, be there for them who are there for you, right? Protect those who protect you. And remember, put a comment in the comment section, give the videos a like, subscribe, and donate to us at PayPal at themullings@gmail.com. Thank you to everyone for your support. Have a great day.